Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Ismael, the CEO at ThriveCart. Hello.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining our podcast. I'm super excited. First of all, for our audience, please tell us what is ThriveCart.
Yeah, absolutely. ThriveCart is a very powerful no-code sales funnel platform that helps creators, coaches, and businesses generally sell more online simply. We have things like a powerful affiliate management center. We have checkout templates, an LMS, and really everything an entrepreneur needs to be selling digital and physical products online.
What would you say is the biggest problem that ThriveCart solves? Is it having one place to manage all your business online?
Yeah, so simplicity really is part of it. I mean, the business, started very small and then over time added, more features to the point now where, really people can just come in, and kind of manage everything from kind of one central port. We have over 40 integrations. So if we can't do it, someone else that we work with, will be able to do it as well. So yeah, we like to think of it as a very kind of inclusive, all-in-one platform for entrepreneurs selling online.
I see. Who do you say is the ideal customer for ThriveCart? Who needs it? I guess it's a small business, starting entrepreneur. What's your target?
Yeah, so I mean, to date we have about 60,000, people on the platform selling.
Wow,
We process nearly $2 billion in payments a year. So our
billion.
kind of billion, yes, a lot of responsibility there.
Yeah.
So our ideal customer profile, or ICP, I wouldn't necessarily say it is, it is those that are kind of just starting out, in their journey. Usually, what it is somebody that's been very successful or had success in, let's say, an offline business. So they might be, a fitness coach or life coach or accountant or something like that, and they're really bringing that knowledge online, maybe for the first time, which is where ThriveCart then comes into it. So from there, our customers tend to establish, find market fit, and then scale quite aggressively. So we have lots of people on the platforms that start out making 10, 20, 100, their first $1,000, in an online capacity. But then they go on to, we have people on the platform doing 20, 30, $50 million a year now. So,
Wow.
we like to think that we're inclusive in the sense that, once you're on the platform can scale with you during your journey.
That's amazing. And out of all these features and benefits, what do you say are the most important ones, the ones that people use the most?
Yes, I mean, our very high converting, funnel pages, I would say, is the number one thing people come for. The fact that it's just there, set up. You can, no codes. You plug and play, and you're off. Literally in a matter of kind of minutes, if not hours. To have your opportunity and be selling out there. But then beyond that, one of the very powerful things about our platform is the affiliate center. So in there, you can actually manage your affiliates, have them automatically paid out. So you could be
Nice.
selling on Stripe, for example, and having them automatically paid out through PayPal or manual payments or whatever else that may look at, which just takes a huge amount of hassle out of the process for people and really helps them scale their business, because the power of network is very, very important. And if you can have a kind of community of people out there helping to promote and sell your product as well, and do that in a way where it doesn't become a full-time job in itself, through managing all the interconnections and everything else that are needed to scale that over time, so that you can really focus on your business, then that's very powerful. And then with that we have lots of other kind of useful features. There's lots of tax items and just lots of other things aimed at making things very, very simple for people
Yes.
to transact online. But I would say the big bit further down the line, as kind of custom, because as our users kind of migrate from, I'm selling a product, let's say a digital product, into affiliates are promoting it, into how do I increase lifetime value. I would say that's where our LMS system, so our learning management system, becomes really, really powerful. So we see a lot of people go through that journey, and I think today we have over 4 million students on our LMS platform,
Wow.
accessing more than 12 million courses. So that becomes
Wow.
a very, very important part for our users. But I would say that's a bit of a journey usually. So
Yes.
you migrate towards that over time.
Wow, that's amazing. And out of these 40 integrations, what are the most popular ones? I'm really eager to know.
Yeah, I mean, so there are a number. I would say probably are, some of the bigger ones we have. Some of the large ones are, some of the Active Campaign, be one of them. Drip, so things around, ESP, autoresponders, those type of things tend to be quite popular, as you can imagine, because a part of the sales funnel. So that's a very important piece. Yeah, some of the as the companies scale over time, they start to look at some of the integrations we have with CRM systems, there as well. So yeah, I would say like those are the main ones, but yeah, we have a whole roster of kind of direct integrations, as well as indirect through Zapier too.
Yeah. And how about the pricing for anybody that wants to start with ThriveCart? How does the pricing work?
Yeah, so this is one of the unique things I would say about our business model relative to a lot of others, in the sense that it's a lifetime pricing model. And that's always been the case, with the business. When it was originally founded, and it was founded by a group of 4 individuals in New Zealand, and it stayed that way for the longest time until we came along. But yeah, in terms of the pricing model, it really starts, I would say kind of $495 is kind of the entry point to get in, and it does scale a little bit from there depending on which particular tools you want to be focused on. But in our industry, that's relatively unique. I mean, everything else out there is a subscription model, more or less. So going back to my point about ICP, on day one, people are looking at the product thinking, I'm investing in this. I'm not purchasing, a product. I'm investing in my future. And on that basis, it makes sense for me to, actually kind of go by this model, because I am going to be successful. I'm going to drive thousands or tens of thousands or millions of dollars in sales. So why do I want to be necessarily, continuing to pay an ongoing subscription for something that it might have a higher price on day one, but ultimately, I will recoup more than it's worth, certainly over time. So yeah, our pricing model is a little bit unique. There are, various upsells and other subscriptions that exist within the product for other features, that we have and we will have coming out. We have a very, very aggressive roadmap over the next kind of 12 to 18 months. But yeah, that is generally how the pricing model works.
And do you think this is a better conversion rather than having a subscription?
What it does is it helps attract the right type of customers for our business.
I see.
I think that's the main thing. It helps attract the people who have had a level of success, somewhere either online or offline, and will therefore, are likely, or in some cases more likely, to drive higher levels of sales and GMV over time, which is a big metric for us. So big piece of us is we're able to do lots of things just because of the volume that we've achieved over time. So we can work with partner companies to monetize part of what we're doing there, as opposed to pushing that onto the actual end user and end customer. So it creates a little bit of a win-win situation for everybody.
How do you see the market in terms of ThriveCart and other competitors?
Yeah, it's becoming increasingly competitive. I would say, and AI is definitely part of that as well.
Yes.
A lot of people, when they come to us, the first thing they think is you are a website builder, which that is definitely part of what we do. So the nuance there being more funnels than websites per se, but look and feel is very, very similar. So when you start to expand this to the universe now of AI, of software and AI-driven software, which is fantastic. Like you can literally, you type and go, I want this, I want it on this side of the page, it needs to look like this. These are the competitors, build me something. That's fantastic. But that is relatively commoditized and will continue to be so. The bit where kind of we provide value is in our ability to drive sales through extremely high conversion funnels, and that's really created on obviously the basics of speed, layout, and CRO and those type of elements, but it's also on the basis of our payment system being so good and just so efficient, and it can maximize your chances of making a sale in a particular situation. And things like our one-click upsell are extremely powerful, and that sounds very simple to do. but not many out there have actually necessarily mastered it. So
Exactly.
those type of things. I mean, where we do our a lot of our work is on the conversion side, and is making sure that you have the highest chance of selling your product and the next product and the next product. So those things that tend to look very simple are actually very, very complicated. And those things
Exactly.
that look very complicated can sometimes be very simple. So
Yes.
competitor-wise, the simple things are becoming there's a lot more people competing for that. But in terms of the actual kind of back end where we really kind of provide value, that's an area that ThriveCart continues to have a huge advantage.
Can you reveal any things about the roadmap? Because you mentioned you have a huge roadmap ahead.
We do have
AI
a huge roadmap.
impact.
And I guess for context, like the business, like I said, it was founded by 4 individuals. They were highly passionate individuals, I must say. But now we're over, since the business has been acquired, it's had a capital injection. We're over 115 people now. So
Wow.
that has happened in the last year and a half. So there's been a huge amount of growth in our team, which also means we can do a huge amount of things to the product that couldn't necessarily be done before. So, in terms of what we are we're doing some of the bits are just upgrades that are going to be coming out. So to our LMS platform, to our affiliate platform, over time we're releasing new parts of our payment product as well, which expand us into new markets. We have something very exciting coming out with Stripe pretty soon, in a number of payment areas as well. But then if we start to dig into, well, how do we actually help people be more successful? That's a part that we're very, very passionate about. So in terms of what we're looking at over time, we're bringing webinars natively into our platform. We're bringing AI design tools natively into our platform. We're going to be launching a marketplace to actually help people sell, not just give them the tools to sell. We're going to go big on kind of business intelligence, business insights. So kind of BI is going to be huge for us, because we don't necessarily process all of your payments, because really we're sat on top of Stripe, PayPal, Authorize, mainly Stripe, I would say. But in terms of, the level of data that we have, we can tell you a lot of things that, sure, Stripe may be able to, it's in there somewhere. But if you want to know, look, well, what are my refund rates in these particular regions? Where do I have a problem? Where don't I have a problem? Where do I need to optimize? Where's my maximum opportunity coming from? Where, and to the point where we'll actually start diving into, the kind of the lead side of it to be able to tell you, GA4 is very, very difficult to use, and very, very difficult to set up for a lot of people as well. So we want to remove that hassle. We want to be able to tell you, what are your most profitable sources? Where should you be driving, more of your efforts, more of your kind of reinvestment into your business over time? So I think those bits become, something that we're very excited in terms of driving development over time. And then we'll also be expanding part of our product to new markets as well. So a lot of the people on our platform are running, master coaching events, masterminds, in-person events. So we want to be able to support, all of those things, getting into, actual kind of point of sale, of software and those items too. So really kind of bridging the gap between, online and offline sales, which you tend to find it is quite common, especially in kind of very high ticket, items that some of the users are selling. So quite a few things coming. Those are ones I can tell you about. There's a few bits I can't necessarily reveal right now, and that's more but that's more a fact that it's R&D. So some of the things we're working on are aggressive, and we're trying to work out the feasibility. Some of the bits are will be good to release later. But for the business, we are definitely getting into that mode of let's experiment, let's try, and push the boundaries, which is something that, we're very privileged to be in a position to do.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. And I love your mission. Make it simple for our customers to sell and help them achieve the next level. So I totally love your mindset. I'm curious to know about the story of the company. So exactly in what year was it founded?
Yeah, so the business was founded, 2016, came out of New Zealand, was for very, very passionate individuals. And they scaled the business, very successfully over time. So in terms of kind of what they had achieved, it was we came in as the private equity firm that acquired the business in in 2022. So really kind of, between those points, they had done a phenomenal job. But they've really started to hit the size in terms of, what they wanted to achieve, where the business could go. And it got to a point where the business was very successful, but it needed more to scale over time. So
Yes.
the one thing I definitely commend them for, the fantastic business they built. They gave us a really good standing start from our perspective, but also
Nice.
knowing when to say when, I think, was quite
Yes.
important, because the business did need an overhaul in terms of the back end. We did need to bring a lot more developers in, because when the business was started, it wasn't generating close-ish to $2 billion a year in payments, and that level of scale over time sounds fantastic, but it does come with a lot of operational complexity. So that's really where we had to step in and go, okay, we do need a team of 20, 30, 40 developers working on this and building it so that it can get to 10 billion a year. So that we can go from 60,000 customers, on the platform to 250,000 customers. And those things take time, they take capital, and it takes, the ability to, somewhat migrate from that more bootstrapped, self-funded mindset into a we can invest for the long term, because that's where we're trying to drive our focus and drive the business. So I'm extremely happy that we ended up acquiring a business that to that point had been bootstrapped, because through my years of experience, doing other things, one of the things I do realize is that, bootstrap companies, can be very, very well built from a software perspective, because often they're just a labor of love. So, you're highly passionate and you want to solve problems. And oftentimes you don't need a huge amount of capital to do that. You don't need a huge amount of capital to find market fit. You can just get started, get going, and iterate and listen to your customer feedback over time. And that helps drive, the innovation and improvements within the platform. But yeah, in terms of taking over the business and scaling from there, we had a very, very good starting point. But it's also our responsibility now to make sure that $2 billion-ish a year in payments, that's a lot. It's our, we need to make sure, platform stability, ability to scale from here, add new things over time without that system breaking. So that's where a lot of our kind of, focus goes into, acknowledging that we are not the payment processor. We sit on top of Stripe and in certain cases others as well, but it's our system that facilitates all of it. So it needs to be bulletproof in terms of performance.
Right. Thank you for this answer. How big was the team when you acquired, and versus today? You said 115. Right?
Yeah, it was just 4 people. It was just 4 people.
2 years ago.
Yeah, of which I believe 2 were developers. Yeah, it was. But that's, the business scaled because it found such good market fit, and you don't need a huge team to kind of to establish that. But yeah, it was 4 people in New Zealand, and the business has customers all over the world. But there is certainly a concentration in North America, United Kingdom, Germany, and a few other places. So yeah, with time zones, managing that too, it was especially difficult for them. But yeah, it was definitely a product-led growth business, and I think that's what made it so successful over time, because the product did the talking. So that's what they focused on, and yeah, they were very, very good at what they did.
So let me repeat this. In 2 years, okay, almost 3 years, from 4 people, the founders, to 115.
Yes, and this year we're adding about at least another 45. So
wow,
that'll just be the first half of the year. Product managers, developers, etc. So we are going, very, very, aggressive, all in on the product development. That's something that will help us kind of drive and lead innovation going forwards in the sector as well.
Amazing. And are the founders still involved in the business, or was it a complete exit?
So they were involved for about a year after the exit, and they're still around. So there are still conversations to be had, especially when kind of learning on the development side how certain things were done or those type of things. So yeah, there's still a good relationship with the previous founders, but really from a day to day, we've brought in a new executive team. We've been out making other acquisitions, to bolster the platform too. So those are things that. Really taking a bit more of a forward-looking mentality there, but yeah, have a huge amount of respect, for the founders of the business, and very good kind of relationships with them. But yeah, about a year was the amount, and I think that's quite typical in terms of transition, handover of businesses and those things.
And you are the new CEO. I'm curious to know your biggest challenge or learning that you had so far in the journey.
A lot, yeah. Quite a great question. I think it's the main thing I had to do from day one was try and put myself in the mindset of everybody using the platform, and that can be challenging because you have some people who are brand new on the platform, you have some people who are midway through their journey, and some people who are very far through their journey, and at a point where it's just scale, scale, scale. So trying to understand the pressures, the needs, the wants of all of those three at the same time is something that has taken a little bit to get me up to speed with the business. But at the same time, my responsibility is not only to understand what's going on, or to understand what happened previously with the business and the industry, where the industry is today, but also to understand where is the industry going to be in 2 years' time. And that's where I spend most of my mental bandwidth, is understanding, well, where is it going? Because at the end of the day, even if we're not driving every single piece of innovation, and no company ever does in any sector, ever really, it's our responsibility to make sure we are up to date with all the bits that we aren't driving innovation in, and making sure that we have an extremely stable product that can scale over time. So my job is to think, well, where should the business be in 2026, 2027? What are the things, how do we reverse that to today? And that's been a lot to get up to speed with for a relatively for me coming in, being kind of relatively new in the role. But I am supported by an absolutely fantastic team. I am, one very, very small part of what we do here. Really kind of everybody is kind of driving, thought. I mean, we like to think of a very, very flat hierarchy, within the company. We have everybody is there to drive thought leadership. Everybody is there to talk, to contribute, to listen. So really kind of my job is just to make sure we are steering in the right direction, and all the talented people that we work with have the freedom and resources to do the things that they want to be doing.
I love it. Perfect answer. If you can share, I'd love to know the most successful go-to-market strategy for acquiring new customers for ThriveCart today. Is it inbound? Do people already know the brand? They come to you directly? Or,
Yeah. So in terms of our business, a huge amount of it, is referral, word of mouth, and we have a very large kind of affiliate network too. So I would say those are the main bits. We don't drive. We just don't do a huge amount of paid advertising. Over time, not a huge amount of kind of content marketing or SEO has been done. I mean, we rank reasonably well just because the business has been well written about over time. But yeah, in terms of our strategy, I'd say referral, word of mouth, and that's the best type as well, because really that's people, that's people kind of vouching for your product, and usually they're people that have used the product as well. So part of that kind of credibility, leans into that conversation quite quickly, I would say. But yeah, I would say that those are the biggest forms for us. We will be scaling other forms over time, but yeah, historically that has been the bit that's driven the business, and that continues to do very, very well for us, which is nice because we're now living in a world where there's a lot of marketing noise. And there's a lot of desire to do things to feel productive. But what we've learned over time, and we've been doing this for a very long time beyond just being in this role at ThriveCart now, it's focus. You need to pick 1, 2, maybe 3 channels and dive all in on them. And really, it's a game of consistency. Consistency wins over time, and trying your very best, as tempting as it may be, not to get distracted with all the shiny toys, because there are lots of them, and the rate of shiny toys coming out is increasing as well. So you really need to stick to your guns, stick to your principles in terms of what you want to focus on. And for us, it's always been affiliate marketing, word of mouth, and referrals.
And do you also have a viral loop? So, for example, if somebody uses ThriveCart to launch their website, is it powered by ThriveCart or something like that, so people know that the product is there?
Yeah, we do have that right at the bottom somewhere. So that definitely does exist. And depending on how people choose to use the product, sometimes they're using custom domains, sometimes they're not using custom domains. So that comes up. That comes up as well.
Amazing.
As well as in. Yeah, so that definitely it helps. But and that kind of goes to one of my beliefs in terms of kind of marketing in 2025 that we've just got into is that a lot of the things that used to work very well are starting to work very well again. So the things that we were seeing, no doubt, a lot of people have been seeing in 2014, 2015, 2016 are becoming very popular again because there's an authenticity to some of the pieces, and other pieces just work very, very well. So if we go back to kind of affiliate marketing and those type of things, that was everything back in those days, and it's becoming more powerful again now. Again, because of the authenticity that comes with the recommendations and the word of mouth and those things. So, and to your point, the viral loop element, those type of things are becoming very, very efficient, and other forms of marketing that could, in theory, scale more are in some cases becoming less efficient. So it's a mix, and I think that businesses just need to change with the times in terms of understanding what works, what doesn't work, and not be afraid to do the work, because oftentimes you have to go slow to go fast, and the paths that get you there very, very quickly often have a smaller, if not potentially a diminishing return over time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, I'm curious about your career. How did you start? What is the story?
So I've been around the block a few times. I started long ago, many moons ago. I was an investment banker. So that was that was where I started out. Me and my business partner, I joined, as a co-founder to a company called FE International back in 2012, I want to say now, 2011, 2012. And we scaled that business. We've sold over 1,500 businesses. We valued 23,000 companies. That company, it still exists, still does its thing. I'm not involved in it anymore, but other than just being having been kind of one of the founders. But in terms of that led us into, we got to a stage where we had about 80,000 investors in our network, and that spanned from, all the way from kind of institutional, strategic, VCs, private equity, LPs, and lots of kind of individuals there too. And what we realized with that particular business was there's a lot of people who are interested in acquiring tech companies, SaaS businesses specifically, but they don't all have the inclination to actually want to run those businesses. They don't have the skill set or knowledge, or in some cases just the time. So really what we then did was said, okay, this makes sense to actually create a small private equity firm. We will start by buying businesses, or we'll bring in management teams, etc. over time. And now we've run 8 of them. Wow. ThriveCart is the 8th one. It's clustered around payments, fintech, and all those things there as well. But in terms of the journey, kind of how we got here, that was really the origins. Is that we saw a need, and then we just fell in love with running software and SaaS businesses, and we'd been observing enough, tech. We sold 1,500 tech businesses, valued 23,000. So we'd seen enough things, and that gave us a very and that gave us a nice kind of what we sometimes call unfair advantage, in the sense that we had seen what a lot of other people had done and what had worked and what hadn't worked, and we've seen it enough times that we had learned a lot of the lessons without necessarily having to always do it ourselves. But we started small and we scaled over time. To the point where we're now in a very privileged position to be running ThriveCart. For us, like, this is it. This is the business that we looked at and go, this is what we've spent 15 plus years working towards. So this is why I stepped out of my role there and kind of came CEO here in full time, because I love the sector, I love the space, and this is just the culmination of 15 years of trying to get into a great position like this.
You recognize the winners. You have experience.
Yes. I've seen a few losers too. But no, yes, exactly.
That's an amazing study. And now the company FE owns 8 businesses.
So FE has run 8. Out of FE, we put together 8 funds. The funds are all independent. They all, run. They all have their own management structures, their own governance, and everything else there as well. So FE still operates. That has its own team in place, and very, very, very lucky to be involved, or have been involved in that business too over time. yeah, for I would still say there's no better place for going and getting valuation and funding and exit planning advice and those things than at FE. But yeah, these funds all run independently, own governance structures, and so the team on one fund will not be working on another fund or anything like that. But yeah, that's where kind of we are with ThriveCart. This is our biggest fund, and that kind of comes back to my point about we are now able to do things the founders of the business weren't able to do, just because we've been able to inject a lot of capital to fund the R&D and those things that we're going to be driving forwards.
You've built an empire. What would be your best piece of advice for someone looking to build something like you, someone that just started their career?
Yeah, there are no cheats, unfortunately. There's no cheat sheets and there's no quick win. I mean, sure, you will definitely hear of this person did this, but what you're really hearing, and this probably comes more from my experience, valuing and selling companies, is that for every one success story you hear, there are 999 stories that didn't go that way. So don't just over focus or don't over index on the one that was super successful and then beat yourself up because it's a journey. And it might not be your first one, it might not be your second one, it might be your 10th idea, and that's all part of it. But really, it's the whole thing of that 10-year overnight success. I think that's where if you go to people that have founded and run successful businesses, no matter what they say, one commonality is all that they turned up every day, they did the work every day, and those pieces add up over time. And it might feel like you're going in circles at times, but if those circles are leading upwards, then that's what you need to be driving towards. So it's consistency. I think that's the main thing, and there's probably a more exciting answer out there, but the reality is that's the thing that drives success over time. And it may be look at us, for example. This is our 8th fund. The other funds have all done very, very well, but it took us seven other things to get to this point where we're like, this is the one. So it's something that I would say, consistency, and just keep driving forwards is the way. And the shiny toys will definitely present themselves, but you have to stay laser focused on what your objectives, are for, be that your career, your life goals, your business trajectory and goals and everything else too. But yeah, consistency is the thing.
Nothing else to say. You are amazing. You said it perfectly. I have just one last question. What's your favorite software that you use, but apart from ThriveCart?
Apart from ThriveCart, great question. Yeah, I love that as a closing question. So we're in the business of obviously running ThriveCart and acquiring other businesses, over time. And one that I've been particularly excited about is a business that we have just acquired. And we acquire businesses over time. We've done for ThriveCarts, we've done webinar platforms, we've done other forms of a couple of ThriveCarts, competitors, which we've turned into complementary products and things. But one that I'm super excited about is a company called PictoChart that we've just acquired. And that, think of it as, I think it's, technically the second largest competitor to Canva or something like that. But it's just so much fun. You just go in there, wow. It's got all the AI, all the prompts and things. So if you want to create, sales documents, ebooks, brochures, flyers, anything else, you just tell it what you want and it just does it. So from somebody that spends a lot of time focused on, we've been speaking about the marketing and kind of, getting things out there and making sure you're always relevant and interesting, it has just saved us internally so much time, where a lot of the people that we have focused on hiring have been on the product and development side. So we don't need to stand up huge design teams or huge this or huge that. So no, that is one. And it's just a little bit addictive, and I'm not someone who I think gets sucked into these things very often. But I was finding just playing around with it, I was making infographics and flyers and doing all this crazy stuff, and then I'll just send it to all my friends, and they were like, "Why are you sending me this?" And I was like, because it's fun, and look, I did a thing. I actually did something. I didn't ask my team to do it. I did it. So for me, that was a bit of a fun moment. And that's a business, as I said, that we've recently acquired, and we're going to be bringing in terms of, we touched on roadmap, design tools. That's going to be one of the pieces to the point where hopefully at some point you'll just be able to say, build me this website. It does this, and it's done. But lots of other things in there. that will be very helpful for our learning management platform. Getting you AI course builders and all those things will eventually exist and come in. But it's one that I'm particularly fond of because I definitely get involved in the due diligence of acquiring businesses, but it's one of the first times where I got involved actually really playing around with the product. And for once I was like, look, someone's going to do the finance here. Don't worry about it. I'm having fun playing over here. So it is highly addictive. So yeah, we'll be getting into, as well as just great payments and very successful payment platform, we'll be getting into the more fun side of it too. But that's one where I've spent more time than I'll care to admit, just playing around. So if you ever get an infographic from me, now you know why.
Is there anything else that you want to share today on the podcast before we close?
Before we close, no, I would say that, honestly, it's, it's been an absolute pleasure being on and speaking to you. Yeah, we're just here to kind of get the message out in terms of, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve. And it's, the way the industry is going, the sector is going, like, I'm so excited to be involved, in this project and going forwards. And yeah, I appreciate the platform and the ability, to share some of that story with the people that listen to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you for joining our podcast. I'm super grateful. Thank you, Isa.
Thank you.